Welcome back to TYT Sports on PLUTO TV. That's Francis Maxwell. I am Jason Rubin. Our production assistant is falling asleep in the back. We've got three great stories as always. We're going to jump right into it because this one's got a lot of different elements to go along with it. Francis, if I said the NBA playoffs are a time where players up their games, is it not fair that TNT's Charles Barkley would up his own game?
I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, you know, and Charles Barkley, what did I write? He said, I say he's not holding back. I was originally going to put Charles Barkley's going to be Charles Barkley.
Yeah, that's exactly
He's going to go full Barkley.
He's Charles Barkleying.
He's barking.
You're right.
So two separate, one beef with Draymond. I shouldn't say beef. It's like a medium well beef. It's not even a nice steak. It's not a nice rare steak.
Yeah, it's way undercooked.
Very undercooked. No, it's overcooked. Oh, well, I guess undercooked is the way to.
Yeah, you could either way. Either way, it's not edible.
So what happened with Charles Barkley? Well, him and Draymond Green. Some people call Draymond Green the modern day Charles Barkley. It's actually not a terrible comparison, unless you ask Draymond Green, who had these three quotes to say. Hell no, I'm modern day Draymond Green. F no. And then he continued, I was raised by Mary Babbers in the Babbers family. I might be pronouncing that wrong. I apologize if I am. That's what you do. You speak your mind. I wasn't a Charles Barkley fan growing up. No disrespect to Chuck either. He's a great player. And he finished with, as I got older, I watched the game because I knew he was undersized and the things he could do, and I could try to add some of that stuff to my game. Barkley told y'all in the 90s that he wasn't your kid's role model anyway. That's an important point to make. Yeah. So there you have it. And then Chuck responded. And they asked him, could he beat Draymond Green one-on-one? And there was the answer.
Probably a better shooter, a better defender. He's clearly not a better scorer, a better rebounder, but he's a better shooter and a better defender.
Can he guard you?
Come on, man.
Can he guard you, Chuck?
Wait, no.
Can he guard you, Chuck, back in the day? Talk that talk, Chuck.
I mean, listen, I love when guys talk about guys who can play good defense. I'm like, nobody going to stop me. Karl Malone, Kevin McHale, Larry Bird, this stuff they talk about great defense.
You're Shaq in the background. Francis, part one of the beef. You know, before we get into part two of the Draymond Green beef, thoughts? Initial thoughts?
We know this about Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley had, he's not going to change his opinions on how much the olden day basketball was better than modern day basketball. This is something that he stood by. He's like, we're a lot more physical. And when he was on Bill Simmons' show, that Once Upon a Time show that was on for 5 minutes, I thought it was pretty good. He was talking about like his top 5 and why LeBron James will never make it into it.
And who did he put?
He put Oscar Robertson.
Who averaged a triple. He said because he averaged a triple.
Because he averaged triple-double the whole season, and Bill Simmons said, you would average a triple. He's like, I would average a triple-double the entire season that year. But it's because he quite literally is, in any way of life, the guy who like would hate on millennials for simply coming up with something new. Like, it's probably the guy that uses the iPhone and holds it like this and uses his index finger to scroll and like this damn thing. And that's not as a rip to him, it's just to say that he prefers the way that basketball was, and he...
How far back does he hold it?
Yeah, he's probably got it attached onto his belt as well. I'm positive. I don't know if he's got it in his pocket. And that's the funny thing when you talk about it. Is your mum really your mum unless she holds her phone like this and does it with her index finger? I'm like, Mum, we have thumbs.
We are not dogs.
Damn it. Either way. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that he's going to say this. Whether you weigh up the logistics of it, Draymond Green can drain threes like no other for being that big, that strong. So yeah, if they were to play one-on-one, I would probably still take Draymond because I don't think Charles Barkley would have adapted to defending the new modern style of basketball, where Draymond Green would probably just drain it from distance.
That's an interesting point. I think it's a very competitive game. If we have to do the what if Charles Barkley in his prime played Draymond Green in his prime, they're pretty much two immovable objects, which is kind of funny because they can just
keep running into each other.
And they're both great rebounders. Charles Barkley is a better rebounder. Yeah. It's actually remarkable for his size and stature, how he would grab 12, 13, 14 rebounds a game during his prime. And again, look, Charles Barkley and his level of analysis has completely passed him by. Like, the little things he says sometimes are what irks me about the analysis. I don't care what Barkley says amongst anything else. Like, we'll get into an apology he made in just a second. You can't find it surprising. You can't go, well, look what he said this time. Look what he said that time.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley's been an idiot on TV for multiple years. However, if you're a network, you pay him money. Why? Because people come in to tune into Charles Barkley. Yeah. He ain't pulling Bill O'Reilly-esque crap at TNT.
Yeah.
He's speaking his somewhat ridiculous mind on a panel with the giant kid Shaq.
Yeah, it's a fun dynamic they create. You're never going to really upset
Was that Baron Davis or did Kenny Smith grow a bigger beard? What's the difference there? But there was more responses. So Green tweeted this out about Charles Barkley's response. Definitely know my history, watched a lot of Barkley in my life. We were about the same height and have some point forward to us. Continued to say a few similarities, but a lot of difference. Comments will always be taken out of context and the questions are never told in stories. And lastly, if I can have half the career, then I think I did pretty well for myself. However, I try to create my own lane in this league. Sure, man, nothing wrong with that, according to Draymond. Now, on a little more heavier of a note, Charles Barkley, like I said, has said some dumb things in the past. He kind of ridiculed, I shouldn't even say kind of, he ridiculed San Antonio's women about 2 years ago. Here's that video.
If I go to Portland, I'm gonna get all the free Nike stuff I want. If I go to San Antonio, I'm gonna get a bunch of churros.
What kind of women are in San Antonio?
Oh, some big old women down there.
Why would you say that?
That's a gold mine for Weight Watchers.
Can't just, how about no? Just how about no? And then his apology came yesterday. It took him a couple years. I want to apologize to the women of San Antonio. Ernie, I had churros last night. I see what all the excitement is about. I had churros last night. Man, them damn things good, Ernie. Them churros good. I see why they got all them big old women down in San Antonio. Man, them churros are the bomb. I apologize to the women of San Antonio. I see why they're big now, because of the churro. That's some very, very faulty logic. Women plus San Antonio plus churros equals all women are big old women?
Yeah,
Am I doing that correctly?
Charles Barkley is just known for mincing his words, man. Like,
he's terrible at articulating.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that as like an offensive thing. He does not know how to properly get his point across, ever. Yeah,
exactly. And his, I mean, it was so clear in his Isaiah Thomas comments. Like, he did mean somewhat well, and they could have been taken out of context, but it seemed that he was being insensitive to the situation. And it was because I think he was mentioning that if you were a fellow player, you wouldn't feel comfortable in Isaiah Thomas's ability to remain competitive at his highest level with that frame of mind. But he came across saying, I don't like him sitting there crying. And people are like, come on, dude. Like, it's not on you to whether you like or not someone crying about the death of their sister. But this is just it's just what Charles Barkley does. I feel like it points there's no filter. It's like as soon as it pops to the head, it's out before he even thinks of it.
What's so funny about that is there's so many people who want that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of those people are very quick to criticize that. So you can't have both. You're not allowed to sit there and say, or it's hypocritical to sit there and say, man, I love Charles Barkley because he has no filter. And then the next day turn and go, well, that overstepped the line. Like, one's going to lead to the other. And again, there's much more things to be angry about in this world than what Charles Barkley says in the NBA and TNT.
I'm gonna go ahead and defend Charles Barkley here.
I think we are in a way defending Charles Barkley, or at least making like, the audience know that like you can't expect.
I mean, wholeheartedly defending Charles Barkley, as in
go.
First of all, I don't think there's anything inherently insulting about saying there's some big old women, because I wouldn't be surprised to find out that Charles Barkley himself prefers big women. I myself prefer big women, and it's a preference a lot of men have, so I don't think that's inherently insulting. The Weight Watchers, at first, I thought that was super insulting until I remembered that Charles Barkley was a spokesperson for Weight Watchers.
Yes, he is.
Like, that wasn't just like an out of nowhere comment. That was like, oh, this company I used to work for is marketed towards this certain people. I get, of course, how people took it the wrong way and got offended by it. But I think it was a super reasonable thing to say.
I also have to defend Charles Barkley because cinnamon churros at Del Taco, they're really good.